haven't already. And today is a very exciting video. It is the first of my Worship Wednesday series. Woohoo! And if you don't know what that is or you haven't watched my intro video, I'll link it up here. That was me trying to figure out which side I was on. Don't know still. It'll be linked up here. You guys can go check that out. But my Worship Wednesday series is going to be where I'm doing a Bible study with you guys. And every Wednesday, that's why it's called Worship Wednesdays. And I am so excited and nervous for what this series is going to bring, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So the Bible study that I'm going to be leading is kind of like I'm kind of creating it on my own. I don't know, like the devotional series, I just don't connect with them all the way fully, and so I decided to just go off of a thing of my own. I got a calendar with verses on it for every day, and from Aberjoy, and I'll just type out all the verses for the rest of August, and hopefully I'll get one for September, because I really like this one that I got for August. So that being said, let's jump on into today's Bible study. So the whole month of August, it says that the verses are for a quiet heart. So I guess that's our theme for the next 2 weeks of August, is a quiet heart. But I'd say this set of verses is more about relying on and trusting in God. So let's jump right into it. So our verses that we're looking at today is Jeremiah 17, is that right? Yeah, Jeremiah 17, 5 through 8. On my sheet it actually says 7 through 8, but I was reading the whole chapter and I figured that 5 through 8 kind of rounded it out a little bit more, and I liked the contrast in adding verses 5 and 6 to 7 and 8. That's why I added those two verses in it. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by reading the verses, and then I'm going to go through and break down the verses, because that's kind of like my study tactics that I like to do. And yeah, so let's read. I'm reading from the NIV version of, that's my Bible, it's an NIV. So Jeremiah 17, 5 through 8. This is what the Lord says. Cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. That person will be like a bush in the wastelands. They will not see prosperity when it comes. They will dwell in parched places of the desert, in the salt land where no one lives. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water, that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when the heat comes, and its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. So that's Jeremiah 17, 5 through 8. So breaking it down, going back to verse 5. 5 is, cursed is the one who trusts in man, who draws strength from mere flesh, and whose heart turns away from the Lord. This verse, I feel like, talks about putting our faith and reliance in man alone instead of God. And just thinking about it, like, who here has been let down by somebody? Like, I think that would be totally scary just to put all your faith in man, because men can be, I wouldn't say untrustworthy, but a lot of times they aren't fully for you. They have their own agenda. They're not there to make you the best person you can possibly be. Where God is always there, and he's always reliant, and he is there to enable you to grow further, where people aren't necessarily not. I feel like also this verse is talking about not only putting your faith and reliance in other people, but also having too much reliance on yourself. I know that I struggle kind of badly with I'm a little too stubborn, And sometimes I find myself thinking that, oh, I don't need God, I can do this on my own. And I feel like that's the same thing as putting our faith into somebody else, where yes, we might be able to do it on our own, but it'll be 100 times easier and 100 times less painful if we rely on God to help us in that situation. So that's my spiel for verse 5. So now moving on to verse 6. Okay, moving on to verse 6. Verse 6 is that person will be like a bush in the wastelands that will not see prosperity when it comes. They will dwell in the parched places of the desert, in the salt lake where no one lives. Now guys, I gotta be a little honest with you guys. I get this part of this verse, I get totally lost. I live in the Midwest America. There's no deserts around here. The only things I can picture being a desert, it's like barren with a lot of cactuses. Cacti. And so, this verse doesn't connect with me because I don't know exactly what they're talking about the salt lake things. I looked it up, and it's where things don't grow. So, I mean, in case you wanted to know that, the salt lake thing is where things don't grow. But in my mind, for this verse to make sense, I picture a tumbleweed. So I picture a tumbleweed always rolling around, looking for a place to stay, not growing, not thriving, not prospering. And I feel like that is how we would be and we would emulate if we put our faith in man or ourselves instead of trusting and putting our faith and relying on God. We would always be searching for the next thing to fulfill us, always rolling around and never staying still, and never creating roots, and we'd be dried out and lifeless. On the contrast of that, we'll read verses 7 and 8 together because I feel like those are like. So verses 7 and 8. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water, that sends out its roots by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes. Its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought, and never fails to bear fruit. So I feel like this verse is saying that not only if we put our confidence in the Lord will we be blessed, but we always have something that we can rely on. Our roots will be next to that stream, so when a drought comes, we will still be thriving. So I didn't I didn't dive in too deep on these verses because I feel like they're very self-explanatory. But I did look up a couple other articles to kind of like get a further aspect into these verses, and I'll link the article that I was reading down below. And I think that what I was reading brought up a good point of how some verses like these, who's like, if you believe in the Lord, you will be blessed type of verses, kind of give the illusion that if you commit yourself to God, everything's gonna be okay, and you won't face any hardship or anything like that. And I can kind of see where they're talking about with these verses, but at the same time, I don't. I definitely see that even though you believe in God, you will have hardships. I mean, just look at verse 8. It says, it does not fear when heat comes. So it's not saying that heat's not going to come. It's saying that it actually is going to come, but you shouldn't be afraid because you have God there to rely on. It also says it does not worry, or no, it says it has no worries when the drought comes, in a year of drought. And again, that is future tense, like it's going to come. I guess that's not future tense. I don't know my tenses, guys. We'll say it's like, it's a predictive tense. So I feel like this is, even though it's saying that when you follow God you will be blessed, it's also saying that when all the hard times come, you have God to rely on, and He will keep you thriving if you bury your roots into Him, I guess. He will keep you thriving, and you will bear fruit and prosper and live and be happy and joyful. Well, not guaranteed, but hey, if you're sad, you can always rely on God. So that is basically what I have for you guys for this beginning of the Bible study. I hope that you guys got at least a little bit of something out of this, and I'm really excited for the rest of the series to come about. I have to look it up real quick. Let me see what our next verses are. Our next verses it'll be based around 1 Thessalonians 4 and 11 is for next Wednesday. I might tweak it a little bit. I'll let you guys know in the vlog that'll go up on Monday what verses we'll be doing on Wednesday. So you'll officially know that. I hope you guys had so much fun. And I think I'm going to start this new thing where if you guys have any prayer requests, let me know. DM me in my Instagram. I'll stick it right here. Or even leave it in the comments if you guys have any prayer requests, what you guys thought about these verses, and stuff like that. Yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys at the next Worship Wednesdays. Bye.